Was it seduction or illusion? Deception or murder? Nothing is what it seems in a town like Twin Peaks. Starring Kyle MacLachlan, Michael Onkean, Lara Flynn Boyle, Sherilyn Fenn, and Joan Chen. And now you can fall back into the mystery, or begin your search for the first time every Tuesday night with a new episode hosted by a panel of superfans. Watch live for the audio commentary. No one is innocent in a town like Twin Peaks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I would like to welcome you to this week's episode of Alive from Sparkwood in 21. This series chronicles the cult classic 1990s TV series Twin Peaks, created by David Lynch and Mark Frost. Joining me on this odyssey are superfans Last Call, Troy Pacelli, Aged Boomer, and Netters Network. So slide into a booth at the Double R Diner and order yourself a damn fine cup of coffee and a heavenly slice of cherry pie as we delve deeper into the world of Twin Peaks. Already in the chat, FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. Faithful Blue Wrench, the bird woman of YouTube. Look out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions, Connie Cleary. Friend of the channel and channel member, JPRPH1. Host of Films with Friends, the creator of the 10-word review, Big Al Presents. Friend of the channel, Geek Flag with Nate Knows, 1973. I would also like to say hello to everyone joining us tonight on Rumble and on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. My fellow panelists are patiently waiting backstage, so I'm going to bring them on. Aged Boomer.
Hello. Huzzah. How you doing?
Fair to partly cloudy. How about yourself, Boomer?
Fine. I bet you're curious about my my thumbnail pick, right?
I am.
It's a story I'll tell in my presentation. Okay.
Indeed. Last call, Troy Pacelli.
Do you know who I am? I am the arm, and I sound like this. Woo! Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. And of course, last but certainly not least, she of the usually smoldering new avatar, but now it's just a damn fine cup of coffee. Now does that work?
And I'm married to that other nutball. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing tonight?
And I can attest she is a damn fine cup of coffee.
I thought that was a tall drink of water.
Either way.
I do want to begin the show tonight, as I'm sure you have probably all heard by now. Our friend Clobbering Times, Mike Alonso, is in the middle of a severe medical situation. A GoFundMe has been set up by his daughter, and that link can be found in the chat.
I should have dropped it in the main chat, but there we go.
That is the GoFundMe page. Every cent will help. And you know, situation reverse, Clobby would do it for us. So
Absolutely.
anything that you can do to help assist him and his family in this time of need, there's the link that you can go to. And that should be up in all of our chats. If not, it will be very shortly.
Yep.
All right. All right. And I would also like to pass on our condolences to the family and friends of Ben Potter, otherwise known as Comictron, who also passed away in recent days.
That.
So,
oh my gosh, I've been so out of touch.
So, of course, all of our condolences to his family and friends in their time of mourning.
Awful.
All right.
You know, I may be speaking out of turn here, but for all my regulars, I'd ask you to keep Evelyn Hampton in your prayers. She's had some health problems recently.
Okay.
I will not get into details. She asked me not to, but she hasn't been around in a while, and she's had some struggles. She was hoping to be here tonight, but I don't think she's going to be able to make it. So keep her in your thoughts and prayers too.
And am I roboting?
No, you sound fine to me.
No, yeah, no, you sound
okay. All right.
I was going to mention, however, you know who I was talking to, and hopefully he'll be able to join me on Friday as well. I sent a link to him. Pops on Pop Culture.
Ah, yes.
He has recent, he for as long as I've known him, he's had a very tight schedule when it comes to streaming, because he would commute, and he lives out in the sticks, and he cares for a parent and whatnot and whatnot, and so he could really only stream during certain times of the day when he was downtown, so to speak. And he has recently gotten internet access through, what's the Elon Musk satellite thing?
I don't think I know that.
Somebody help me out. Is it Starlink or something like that? Is
yeah.
that what it's called?
I think so. Yeah.
Whatever it's called, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's working really good for him. So his opinion is it's not perfect. It's not as good as terrestrial fiber optics and stuff, but it's worked great for him. So who knows? All y'all who are out in the boonies, maybe that Elon Musk satellite thing might be an option for y'all.
You mean like your mom?
For fuck's sake. Yes. Well, guys, this is the big thing. My mom wants me to come out and visit, and I'm like, look, do you understand? If I do, I can't stream, I can't nothing, and it's kind of like, well, especially now it's like a side gig for me.
Listen, I need to introduce you to something. All right. There are these places called public libraries. You can get yourself a public library card. I imagine that the one in your area might even have more stuff than the one I work for does. And libraries now give out hotspots to patrons. Now, they are in demand, so there's no guarantee you get one in time for your mom's visit. But if you do, you could get a hotspot, take it with you, and you'll have internet wherever you are.
Yeah.
Get
This is Mansfield, Ohio we're talking about, where if I go to the local library, their electricity is kept running by a cat that they have on a hamster wheel.
I was saying get one in your area where you live and take it with you.
Oh, I see what you're
it's
saying.
a physical portable thing?
Yes. Hotspots. Anyway, your library system may have them. Mine
see,
does.
here's the problem, though. She doesn't even get really good cell connection. So we have hotspots on our cell phone, and we can't get connection through our cell phone.
Really?
Yes, this is what I'm telling you. This is how boonies she is. Yeah.
Yikes. So hopefully Elon Musk
Ohio, that explains everything. Are we died or... Is this Ohio? No, I'm not in Ohio. My family is in Ohio. Is what I'm saying.
I have cousins live in Ohio, Dayton area.
And all of y'all who have never heard of Mansfield, Ohio, which is probably 99% of y'all, if you've ever seen Shawshank Redemption, that prison is in Mansfield, Ohio. That's where it was filmed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And maybe one of these days when I get out there to visit my mom, I will take a tour. I've been wanting to.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Well, everyone has to take a vacation at some point, right?
If I read some of these chats out of context, I see, hail chat, LOL bait, Nate. Dead, I meant.
Yeah. Dead I am.
She sells by the seashore.
Oh, one thing I want to bring up about the GoFundMe. GoFundMe likes to add in their own tip.
Yeah, be careful on that.
Yeah,
right.
you do not have to tip them. I always move it down to 0 because it's like, I'm sorry, I don't like GoFundMe as a site just in general. But no, I'm not tipping you. So...
I would rather do Give, Send, Go if I...
Yeah, because I went to put in a donation and it wanted a $36 tip. I'm like, screw that, and put it down to 0.
If anything ever happens to me or Nanette, if there's any kind of a collection, make sure you go through...
Give, Send, Go.
Give, Send, Go. And if you can't afford to give, just pray,
I'm a big believer in praying. Telling you.
Yeah.
I even said I'm forwarding every single Twitter post that I see about Clobbering Times, even if it's just someone posting someone else's. I will still share it out. And when I shared out what Tom Connors said, Midnight's Edge After Dark, I said, look, because he had said he's opened his eyes. And that's a big deal. I said, guys, keep the positive thoughts going. Keep the prayers going. If you're like me, you may not be on speaking terms with the big cat at the top of the stairs, but, do it anyway, because, damn it, this is family,
And Netter said to.
Yeah.
Well, and Netter said to. Yeah, actually, I should have led with that. I wouldn't have had to say all the rest.
I'm serious. I am such a big believer in the power of prayer. I mean, Troy can tell you the things that I've prayed about that he's like, that's silly. What are you praying about that?
Kind of creeps me out, to be honest with you.
Okay, when we used to live in Chicago, those of you who live in big cities, you know this. You come home from work or wherever, and there's never parking. Mm-hmm. And we'd be coming home from visiting a friend or something. It's like midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and it's like, we're not going to find parking. We're going to have to park 4 blocks away and walk back. And I would just simply pray for a parking spot somewhere near our apartment.
And that just boggles my mind, the idea of praying for a parking spot. I'm like, the big cat has bigger things going on than parking spots, right?
Yeah. And
well maybe it was an angel that heard.
Well, I'd say 9 times out of 10, we would have a parking spot right there. Even in the middle of winter, when it's impossible to find parking in the city, we would have a parking spot 9 times out of 10.
This is why I say my wife has faith like a child, and I'm blessed for it. You know, I'm the heathen that's blessed by being married to a spiritual woman.
The heathen.
Well,
actually, I'll say that
I'm
image.
not a heathen because it's not like I don't believe. I absolutely believe. I'm just not on speaking terms with the big cat.
So how about you, Steven? Are you excited for tonight's stream?
Oh, he's always excited. I mean, for crying out loud, he does this 24/7, I think.
Are you tired?
I didn't hear a word of that because you are all roboting right now. But,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Make sure that your YouTube is muted.
Yeah.
No,
Turn
no.
off your YouTube if necessary.
He said roboting. That means he's having
internet issues?
internet coming in issue, but you're coming through to us just fine.
Weird.
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 I will never let that go. That is always going to be a thing.
What?
Weird.
I don't even know what that's from.
That's
Rachel
from that
Ziegler.
That Ziegler girl and her Snow Off White.
Oh.
I was bothered by the fact that she was saying, this is made in the 1930s, and I'm like, yeah, those horrible backwards people that lived in the 1930s who got us through the Great Depression
Right?
and World War II.
Yeah.
Please
no,
stop.
These dumb kids that have had everything handed to them don't understand anything about history, I gotta say. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I'll rein it in. I'll save it for Sunday.
Yeah, that's when you do the rants. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
you-
I'm just anyway. This is about Twin Peaks. Can you hear us
Right.
now? Deleted scenes. Are we still roboting?
Yeah, you are. But that's okay. On to the
One
show.
thing you can do. I don't know if
all
you have a lot
right.
of tabs
Try taking yourself
open.
out, putting yourself back in. Then do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around.
I'm excited.
Let me see if that helps.
Get to talk about video games.
All right, let me jump out and jump back in.
Okay, I'll take over here. No problem. Actually, let's do a little bit of primer for tonight. Kind of give us a 4,000-foot overview of. You're going to be talking about video games tonight, aren't you, Agent Boomer? Which is basically your brand.
Not really. Yes and no. I guess
I look to you for all my knowledge of games.
It does not mean that I am an expert on every game ever made, every game out now. It just means I follow the business, and I do try to play them when I have the time.
Oh, so you're a big fan of Kotaku? I'm sorry. I'll stop.
I used to, when you would send me an article for Geeky Geezers, and it would be from Kotaku, and I'm like, really?
I had no idea. That's how out of touch I am with
I think
the
you
whole
also said
gamer
Polygon, and maybe I should be a little nicer to Polygon. Of course, I don't really want to be for a number of reasons, but
look,
even
I am
they're
not
as
giving
bad
a
as
great deal
Kotaku.
of slack to any of the media outlets. Really,
Kotaku
I feel
is just
like
worse
now that
these
we have
days, yeah.
YouTube,
Not that I want to
and-
be using Deleted Scenes channel as a.
Well, no,
sounding
I
off.
get it, but it's
Constantly
on
coming
your
after
topic.
him, and it'll be my fault. But no, I'm kidding.
It is on your topic, and when it comes to gaming and entertainment, even we have YouTube now, so we literally have the community to talk about it. We don't need some highfalutin, holier than thou media, professional media to bless the knowledge to pass it on to us. We can share our own information. It's the First Amendment as pure as it can be,
As pure as it can be.
Yep. Sharing information between peers. We don't this is the funny thing. The establishment wants you to believe that freedom of the press is the establishment media. No, freedom of the press was everyone should have access to the press.
Journalists back in the day didn't get highfalutin degrees. They would be people in the community that would become reporters.
What were the Federalist Papers? They're a bunch of pamphlets put out by some guy who had access to a printing press.
Yes. Anyway, I got some games recently, though.
Yeah.
I got Unicorn Overlord. You like that title?
Whenever someone says something about unicorns, I think about that funny commercial where the claymation or puppet unicorn is pooping out rainbow poops into a
That's disgusting. I remember that commercial.
Yeah,
that was
I
foul.
think it's funny.
You thought it was funny. Did you find the English lady talking about the potty pellets that she would put in the toilet?
Yes. Oh,
yeah, the poopery.
Everything sounds funny
she
when you have
and
a
the guy
British
from the
accent.
unicorn poop commercial should get together. I thought that would have been a perfect couple.
I'm with you, absolutely.
Completely disgusting. Both commercials. I did not like them.
Well, in fairness to marketing, there, how do you market something that you spray into the toilet to get rid of poop smell? You know, you got to do something like that.
Listen to me. This trend continues this day of disgusting commercials for products like there's a. Let's be blunt. There's a feminine hygiene product commercial with this centaur lady on lately, which I also find obnoxious as all get out. Yes. Have you missed this? Do you not go on YouTube, or do you not have to watch commercials?
I don't watch commercials.
Well, good for you. Okay, this is what they show on YouTube.
Oh, and by the way, everybody, and the opinions of Troy Pacelli and Last Call are not necessarily shared by Deleted Scenes and Age of Boomer. You know, just so you can.
What, the unicorn poop?
No. What I was going to say is about advertising. Yeah. Right. I will admit it. I use an ad blocker, and yes, I am a monetized channel, and I would perfectly encourage all of my viewers that follow my channel. I still, even though I'm monetized, I don't get any AdSense yet. So why should they benefit from my work? By all means, use an ad blocker when you're watching my channel, please.
This is how I feel. I don't mind an ad before a video. Okay, I get it. It's to make money. I care about if you're running a video and you get like 3 ads like in the middle and all this. Like if it's a long video, like an hour long, fine, you can put an ad in the middle. Actually, I'll say this. Watching YouTube through an app on your device, like a Roku player, is usually, of course, then you can't really type out comments under it when you're doing that, but you actually have fewer commercials. It's more user friendly, I find. But anyway, what are we doing?
Well, no, I mean,
all right.
Sorry, I found the commercial you were talking about, so I have it queued up to watch later on.
That's wonderful. Okay.
Well, you said female centaur. I need to check this out.
Oh no!
I just have to.
Okay,
I just have to.
You don't. You really.
He knows what I'm talking about. Thank you.
It's basically. It's basically a Seth Rogen movie in 2 minutes. You know.
Yeah. There you go. You'll check it out later.
By the way, Tim, thank you. I just got a huge chuckle out of dyslexia for cure found.
In the 90s, let's face it, in the 90s, commercials were classier. You had the lady from Starship Troopers doing a
hell in the 50s. They used to smoke in commercials.
I'm just saying, you used to be able to advertise this stuff without making everything into just never mind. Like you said, a Seth Rogen comedy. Anyway, we're getting off track, aren't we?
Indeed.
Pretty much.
Boomer, I understand that you have prepared a little something.
A little presentation. So maybe before...
I'm going to call this segment Twin Geezers.
Okay. I think before I start, I'm going to read a little bit from that article Troy sent me, and then I'm going to get into one of the games from the article. That might be best. But I'll go ahead and... should I bring the presentation up?
Actually, that's a clever way to do it. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, but let me go ahead and do that instead. I have the article up now. So this is from The Gamers, or the Gamer site, I think. 10 games inspired by Twin Peaks, sent to me by Troy Pacelli earlier today. I'm going to go through this list. Explore surreal nightmare games like Evil Within 2 that pay homage to Twin Peaks with eerie environments and nods to the show. Okay. So number 10 was the Evil Within 2. Let me PC. So this is the first game on their list. The first Evil Within was directed by Shinji Mikami, one of the creators behind Resident Evil, and it's a pretty straightforward survival horror game. Its sequel took things in a different direction to create a more memorable experience that includes some direct references to Twin Peaks. During the second chapter of Evil Within 2, you'll spend most of your time exploring an area that feels like a combination of the Baker House from Resident Evil 7 and the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks. You'll also drink coffee to restore your health, another subtle nod to Twin Peaks. Number 9 is a game I've never heard of called Kentucky Route Zero. Like Twin Peaks, Kentucky Route Zero is more often about vibes and the journey than the actual destination. All 5 of the game's episodes provide absorbing something. Okay. Well, is that coffee I'm hearing?
No, I'm pouring myself a soda. I'm having.
Yeah,
nobody asked me what I was sipping on. I have a cherry Coke Zero tonight.
What do you sip? Okay, I have a. What do you have?
Netter has water.
I have an unsweet tea. Kentucky Route Zero draws you with
unsweet tea.
I like unsweet tea, and it's no calories.
Is it cold or hot?
It's cold.
So that's just normal.
Oh.
It's. You should try it sometime. I prefer it to diet soda.
Tea.
It's normal tea, but it's chilled, yes. Kentucky Route Zero draws you in with its relatable characters and easy-to-follow story that slowly melts into a surreal adventure containing giant eagles, haunting boat rides, and more. During the third episode, there is a performance at a bar that's evocative of the music Julie Cruz contributed to Twin Peaks. Okay, I've not played this game. Looks like it's in a game that releases episodes. I can't comment on it, but it sounds interesting.
I'm guessing you didn't have a chance to see if like these games were on Steam or like any of that kind of stuff.
I'm assuming that's where they are, because I don't know where else they'd be. Unless it's Good Old Games or some guy's website that you have to give all your bank.
I don't know. When I used to play a lot of these games, you would buy a CD.
I know what's on console. I am not a PC gamer, as I've repeated in the past. I do not play games on PC. I never liked the PC. I had to stick these things called floppy drive.
Good point. Netter is selling a bunch of my CD games, and this is before you had to go online and register them. So you can actually buy them from her.
DRM free.
Load them and play them, and you won't have, some company saying, nope, this is registered to someone else. You can't play this game.
Okay. 8. Who's Lila? Who's Lila?
I don't know.
I guess instead of Laura, huh? I don't know. Your character has a tough time expring his personality.
I was going to say, ask Eric Clapton, he'll know.
Okay, well, the PDF didn't say, but it looks weird. It looks, in this game, your character has a tough time expressing his personality. It's up to you to manipulate his facial features to make people believe you. This unique mechanic changes the narrative based on how you react to each situation and can lead to the game's many endings. I have no idea.
Sounds a lot like
So I think
LA
you're playing
Noire.
an FBI agent. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like LA Noire, where you have to, doubt or believe or, whatever. And based on that, you would, no.
Well, that was obviously LA Confidential. That's what that game was.
That's what I meant.
By.
Yeah, right.
Life is Strange. Number 7 is Life is Strange. Stay away from Life is Strange unless you want a poster child for the woke video game. It's Life is Strange. The reason I don't go around attacking is because it's not like they took an existing franchise and messed it up. They just created their own. So you do with what you want with your own stuff. It's got an audience. I don't care. I just don't like it when you intrude on the stuff I like. But here's Life is Strange.
Let me translate that for the audience. You guys are here. You probably think similar to us. Yeah, maybe stay away from this one.
Well, let me read you what they say. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Almost every entry in the Life is Strange series contains homages or references to Twin Peaks. But the first game is the one that feels the closest to the show's tone. You follow Max Caulfield, a promising young photographer who returns to her hometown with just as many quirky characters and dark secrets as Twin Peaks. Beyond the search for a missing friend, Max also discovers that she can manipulate time, which adds an intriguing supernatural element to the familiar formula. The prequel game, Before the Storm, is very similar to Fire Walk With Me, as it provides more context leading into the events of the main adventure. I believe these are episodic games, and you can get the first episode for free, so if you're so daring.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a great way to pull somebody into a series of games.
Number 6 is Silent Hill 2. And...
I know about the Silent Hill franchise.
Yeah, Silent Hill and Twin Peaks have characters with mysterious background. something mysterious background. Sorry. Odd characters and nightmare-inducing monsters. As silly as the dog ending is in Silent Hill 2, it's the kind of humor David Lynch infuses into most of his projects.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know. I own Silent Hill 2, but I've never actually gotten around to playing it. But I know enough about it.
So here's what I can tell you from watch-throughs that I've seen. This is the Silent Hill stories are much more heavily supernatural based than Twin Peaks. Depending on your interpretation of Twin Peaks. Let me back that off slightly. But it's overtly supernatural. Big mystery dealing with cults and a strange town that's cut off from the rest of the world. Very creepy, lots of fog. That's actually a game mechanic thing more than it is ambiance, but it actually works well for ambiance.
Created in the original, because on the PlayStation 1, you had to have fog in some of those early games because you couldn't see the foreground because of the technology at the time, So they, or the background.
I think we should phrase that as it helped to have fog because of the rendering speed, but it worked very well in terms of the ambiance, so they just kind of went with it.
I think it was inspired by that American town, which is still on fire.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
So that is the part of the thing is that Silent Hill is literally a town on fire. I want to say the coal deposits are on fire. There's a supernatural element to that, but that fills the town with smoke, and therefore you can only see so far, which makes it incredibly creepy. And then, something steps out of the fog just like a few feet in front of you, and you're either already in combat or you're getting ready to shoot somebody that you should be talking to. It's actually very clever.
I forget where that is in the United States where this really happened, where I think it was, I think the town was storing trash and the government came to incinerate the trash, and it ended up setting fire to all abandoned coal mines underneath, and they can't put the fire out. They cannot put it out. No. The town had to be evacuated, and they don't know when it's ever going to stop burning.
And portions of the town have literally collapsed.
Yes.
And you never know when another portion of it will. There are people that still go there, kind of like people that go to, what's that place in Ukraine?
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl, yeah.
I wouldn't set foot in that town.
Well,
it's very
you really
dangerous.
Shouldn't.
No, like pockets will open up under you and suck you into a fiery abyss.
Yes,
okay?
that is entirely possible. But you know what? That's why YouTube exists. There's people on YouTube that are streaming and doing videos from there. You can check them out without going there yourself.
It's on an episode. Go ahead.
Some of the people that are going to that town that's burning are residents going, this is my home, I'm not leaving.
Some people might still live on the
outskirts.
Well,
and there's people in Chernobyl that have done the same thing, trying to get back to their towns, get certain things. And, Chernobyl is a whole other ball of wax, but we're finding out a whole lot about radiation contamination from that.
The government had to relocate everybody.
Yes.
Because it was a government screw-up, so I think they had to, it was just a... Yeah, it was. They did an episode of Shatner's The Unexplained. It was a portion of that episode. It was
I might have to check that out.
I'll see if I can find the name.
Because I know of it, and I know some of the details. I'd like to know more.
Number 5, Thimblewood Park. This one sounds interesting. I never heard. This looks like one of those point-click adventure games.
We were just talking about that the other day.
Made in 2017, actually. Developed by the creators of Maniac Mansion and The Secret of Monkey Island, Thimblewood Park is an adventure game about 2 FBI agents who are sent to the titular town to investigate a murder heavily inspired by Twin Peaks and The X-Files. Thimblewood Park captures the essence of these shows and turns them into another intriguing mystery. And as much as Thimblewood Park emulates the genre shows like True Detective, it often embraces humor over terror. You won't walk away from the game with any new phobias, but there is a satisfying case to solve in Thimblewood Park if you want to feel like Dale Cooper or Dana Scully for a few hours. You know what's interesting? That sounds like an old-fashioned LucasArts game.
Yeah, it really does.
So, this might be on Steam. You might be able to get that on Steam. Mizurna Falls. That sounds directly like a Twin Peaks thing.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me, Agey Boomer. Speaking of games and stream
Yes.
and Steam
Yes.
and stuff like that, although I am monetized, you are banned from sending me any super chats. You have already contributed to me so much through Steam that you should not be spending money on me.
Please.
anywhere
I'm at least
else.
going to send you one on Friday, okay? Consider it drinking money.
Yeah, well, okay. I guess
Just this
all
Friday.
bets are off on Friday.
And to be
Okay,
fair,
it's a
those Steam
celebration.
games I bought you, not to make myself sound cheap, but they weren't that
That
expensive.
goat simulator tickles
That
me
thing cost
so
a couple
much.
bucks, dude. It wasn't expensive, all right?
Oh, he
Still.
was cracking.
Netter and I both got so much mileage out of that.
Anyway.
And it screams, it goes, ah! And then it goes flying because it stepped on a treadmill or something like that.
It's ridiculous. It's the greatest game ever made. Anyway, okay. Twin Peaks was just as popular in Japan as in North America. And
Actually,
that
more
was-
so as far as longevity goes.
Oh. We never
Yeah.
got Mizuna Falls. It was only in Japan. A fan translation has still been a mystery as to why the game didn't receive an international release. Like most games inspired by Twin Peaks, Mizuna Falls follows a young man, as he tries to find a missing high school student. What helps it stand out from other games is that you only have 7 days to solve the crime, and how you choose to spend your time can lead to one of 3 different endings. This looks like a PlayStation 1 era game. That looks really cool,
I
actually.
love that idea of a game where in-game time is, relevant, and so literally they could say, well, the game is going on whether you are paying attention to it or not, and the story ends at X.
They had a Legend of Zelda game that worked on that mechanic. It was Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Oh.
And in that game, you have 3 days to save the world. But you had to still the Ocarina of Time from Ocarina of Time, so you could still time travel and get reset 3 days prior. Like you lose things you gain from the 3 days, so you had to basically. It was a real head spinner, but it was a different take on time travel.
Well,
than
Marty,
Ocarina of
you
Time.
got to think 4-dimensionally.
I'm not going to bother talk about Zelda. Zelda's number 3. I'm going to talk about Zelda. I'm going to talk about it in my actual presentation.
Okay.
Plus, part of the thing is blocked. But Alan Wake is another one. Both Alan Wake games feature references to Stephen King, The Shining, and Twilight Zone, but Twin Peaks is one of its biggest inspirations. Even the local diner in Alan Wake is modeled exactly after the iconic Double R diner featured throughout the TV show. Now I'm thinking they could have done a Leisure Shoot Larry game like Twin Peaks, and they could have called it the Double D Diner, right?
Double D Diner.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry.
Actually, I'm going to encourage Netter to start the Double P Diner.
Okay, but instead of actually placing references to Twin Peaks throughout both games, Alan Wake takes Twin Peaks themes of duality and desperation and builds upon them to create its own captivating identity. I don't actually have the Alan Wake games. They were on Xbox. I guess I could get them now. I have an Xbox.
Okay, I actually have the Leisure Suit Larry games.
Yep, yes, she
So
does.
if anyone is interested in them,
Yep.
drop me a DM on Twitter.
Yep.
I'm happy to sell them to you.
Okay. Deadly Premonition. That's the final game. And I guess they made two Deadly Premonition games. Both they take the campiness and horror of Twin Peaks and crank the dial beyond its limit for an unpredictable and hilarious adventure starring a strange cast of characters and plenty of fine cups of coffee. I have the first one of those on the PlayStation 3. It's saved to the hard drive because I got it digital only. Because what can you do? Anyway, but let's get into the main thing tonight. Yeah. I'm looking at the private chat. I'm sorry. Yeah, but of course, the big one on this list I want to talk about is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now, I got The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past. It was the first Zelda game I bought on the Super Nintendo way back when, in 92. And I played it over that summer, and I remember EGM, Electronic Game Monthly, equated it to a religious experience. And I might confer it was one of the best gaming experiences I had in my life. I was desperate for a sequel. I wanted another Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. A year later, in the summer of 93, they didn't release a sequel on the Super Nintendo, but they made a Legend of Zelda game for the Game Boy, and it apparently follows the same Link that you played in Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. So let me go. Oh, can I go? Can I do? Oh, here we are. There, it's on the screen.
Yes.
There we go. See that old-fashioned?
Yep.
Looks like a normal Zelda game. You got the
my
shield.
stepson had this game. Yes.
Oh, he did. Okay,
Mhm,
yeah. This
yep.
was. Did he like it?
Yeah, he played it all the time. I know nothing about it myself.
This was a weird one though. Starts out, Link is on the ocean. I guess he goes traveling after saving Hyrule, because usually Legend of Zelda games, they're like high fantasy games where you're
Right.
stopping a great evil, trying to destroy the land. You fight goblins, or they call them in the game moblins, but they're basically goblins and other things, and dragons and things like that. And you save the day. Well, in this game, he starts out on the ocean waves. He gets into a bad storm and crash lands and basically washes up on this island here. And there's a great video essay on this by a humorist gaming YouTuber called, I think Video Donkey is his name. And he did a great video on this. And he made a point that in most Zelda games, you're trying to save the world. In this Zelda game, you're trying to destroy the world. Okay.
You're trying to destroy the world?
Here's what happens. You're on an island. I mean, it kind of spoils the game, but how old is this game at this point?
Right.
This island is the dream of this creature called the Windfish. And Video Donkey made a point that Link, if he doesn't wake up the Windfish, he'll drown out in the ocean somewhere. He's like stuck in this dream of this giant magical creature, and all the inhabitants of this island are manifestations. It's like when you're dreaming, you imagine people in your dream. Do you understand? It's like you're in a dream of this. Well, they call it the Windfish. It's a big whale, but it's like a hyper. It's a magical whale that he's dreaming. This whole island. This whole island is part of his imagination, and you have to get off of this island. And there's weird stuff on this island. This is from the original commercial for the Game Boy version in the United States. It had a rapper. He was rapping about Zelda. It's kind of a fun commercial.
It's kind of funny, yeah.
My sister made fun of it when it was on, but I thought this guy gave it his all. I have to give him points. Who's doing this rap? Japan had a different commercial with puppets. There's Link, and I think her name is Maria. I could be wrong. Maybe I got her name wrong, but she was on the island.
Creepy, but cool.
Yeah, and they use puppets for theirs. There's the egg. You have to get into the egg on the mountain. So you have to collect all the magical instruments around the island. Yeah, there he was. He was drowning in the water until he woke up on the island, right? And he's going nuts here because this is a weird place. So there's the original black and white Game Boy version, or the four shades of green that you would usually see on the Game Boy version. And you go to pick up the sword. This owl here says, "You must wake up the Windfish." Right. So I'm assuming, and I don't know what this means, but I want to get off this island, right? So you collect the sword and you set about going to find like the 6 magical instruments that will play the song of the Windfish and wake him up from his slumber. All right.
Right.
You run into some weird characters. That's the guy with all the frogs in his house. I don't remember if there's more to it.
It happens, I'm sure.
Okay. There are direct references to Super Mario games in this Zelda game. This is from the color version. There's the piranha plants and Goombas. It's the guy that created The Legend of Zelda is the same guy that created Donkey Kong and Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, nice.
So that's why it's kind of neat that there are these nods in this game. That's a Bow Wow from Super Mario Brothers. He becomes your friend, and you take him. I think you have to go find him because some evil moblins stole him from the family, and you have to get him back. This is something that would attack you in Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
But here you're helping it out. There's even a Bow Wow, and I didn't even get the joke until now. There's this girl Bow Wow in the cabin, and she's desperate for accessories. You know, she's a big into fashion.
Sure.
And she's like, "Could I get some bracelets or something?" And sometime in the game, you find a bow. So you give her the bow to put in her hair, and then you get something from her to give to somebody else.
Sure.
She's all excited because she gets the bow to put in her hair. And I realized Bow Wow bow.
Oh,
and it took me how many years to figure that out? Just today?
Well, that is pretty, yeah. I get it.
There's a sci-fi show called Vagrant Queen. It's also a woke show, but it is, I say Alan Wake 2, ruined by Sweet Baby Inc. I didn't play
everything that Sweet Baby Inc. touches, they ruin.
Yeah, they're not the only ones, but
I actually started out watching Vagrant Queen, and it starts out pretty well, but in the second half of the season, it does go off the rails.
That's pretty much everything that you see on streaming these days. It starts out good, it ropes you in, and then it either goes woke or just turns to crap. Or well, I guess technically I'm kind of being redundant there.
I want to make a response to FKHC 2005. Is a hole that would open up while you are walking called New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey.
Yes, but you're not there anymore for a reason.
Yeah,
Gotcha, right?
you know something.
Right? You can't argue logic with
I'm not
me,
going
my
to use
friend.
this stream to go on a New Jersey rant. We'll do that another time. This is from the. By the way, this picture is from the remake that was made for the Nintendo Switch. They made a remake.
Oh, nice.
Interesting art choice. They make Link look like a children's Playmobil toy for some reason in this game, in this version of the game. But maybe that's to bring it more close to home that you're not in a real environment. You're in a dream. I don't know. Maybe that's why they did it with the remake.
Well, and see, therein, I know you're getting to the points about how this is
like Twin Peaks,
But remember, and this is kind of a spoiler for next week or in a couple of weeks. We're going to be watching Fire Walk with Me, Philip Jeffries. What's the quote? It was a dream. We live inside a dream.
Interesting.
So
very interesting.
Yeah. Talk about connections to Twin Peaks, right?
This is one of the characters you meet in one of the towns. You cannot talk to him in person. He gets all upset. He's like starts. You have to go into another house and call him up on the phone.
It's okay.
You have to talk to him on the phone. He will not talk to you in person. That reminded me of Harold from Twin Peaks, who couldn't leave his house. Remember that?
Yeah, kind of.
That's sort of like that. This is, I believe, a crocodile you run into that wants to collect canned food, and you have to find a can of dog food. And I don't know if you get the can of dog food from a monkey on the island when you. Is that is he wearing a Panama hat?
Yes, he is.
He's like, and you give him. If you give him the can of dog food or whatever, he throws it up in the air and chomps and says, with bits of juicy beef. He's all excited, and you see him eat it in front of you. It's nothing in this game makes any sense. This is funny. This character is named Mr. Right.
Okay.
And
everybody's looking for him.
Oh, dude. I didn't see that. Is he right? But then again, Mr. Right, because what is he doing? He has a pen pal, and he's looking for love. This is prior to the internet. You might try to become a pen pal with some woman, from another state or another country. Maybe, who knows? You'd meet each other, and sparks would fly. And I think it happened once. I don't know. Look, the point is, he's named Mr. Right because he's based off of Dr. Right from SimCity, which was published by Nintendo on the Super Nintendo. Nintendo got the rights to SimCity for whoever made it at the time. I don't know if it was Electronic Arts or somebody else, but remember SimCity on the PC?
I do. I didn't have it because
we have it.
Not SimCity.
It was like the precursor to The Sims.
Sure.
I think we got a copy of it. Yeah.
The idea here was why SimCity was important to Sims players, right? You could build neighborhoods for The Sims 1 using Sims City.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very interesting. It was a great idea.
So, this is so he was based on Dr. Wright, who was Will Wright's insert character in the Super Nintendo version of because he's the guy that created SimCity. They did an insert. They did a little nod to him, inserted him into the Super Nintendo game for you to talk to. He shows up, and this guy's called Mr. Right, and he looks like the same sprite from the SimCity published on the Super Nintendo, and he's called Mr. Right, except it's Write, because he writes pen pal. He has a pen pal. And
which is, of course, a homophone of RIGHT.
Yes. And he looks just like the character, and he's writing to this lady, and he so wants to see what she looks like, and she's gonna send him a picture. And he gets okay, so he gets this picture from her and is all excited. You're the one that delivered this picture. And you have to give him this picture, and he gives you something, but you get to see who his pen pal is.
Oh my god. You know what's funny is
she sends a picture of Princess Toadstool from Super Mario Brothers, and it's a goat. And I'm like,
he got catfish.
He got catfish, yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I guess it's goatfish.
I mean, I don't know. She's a cute goat, right?
If you're into that kind of thing,
Nothing in this game makes any sense because even though Zelda games are in the fantastic world, there's some logic. This is like talking animals and all this other nonsense. But I'll read you two from this article. I'll end
Yeah.
with this. This is from the article. This is why this is interesting, because I originally just thought, oh, people are just making assumptions. But to be fair, when I played this game, I hadn't quite watched Twin Peaks all the way through yet, because I played it in summer of '93, and I don't think I watched Twin
Oh.
Peaks till
I
maybe
see.
'94 when my sister got the VHS set. But The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening has been a Nintendo classic for so long that it's easy to forget how weird it felt when it dropped for the Game Boy in 1993. Originally conceived as a straightforward port of the Super Nintendo's A Link to the Past, which itself had been a return to the mean after 1987's divisive side-scroller Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. That'll be another talk. Link's Awakening could have been a safe, solid extension of a proven Nintendo brand like the Game Boy versions of Mega Man, Metroid, or Castlevania that preceded it. But while its gameplay closely resembles A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening is something stranger. The journey is set not in the Kingdom of Hyrule like the rest of the games, but on a mysterious island whose most prominent landmark is a mountain with a giant spotted egg on it. Apart from Link, no major characters, including series villain Ganon or the eponymous Princess Zelda, appear in the Zelda game. Yeah, it's called a Legend of Zelda game. There's no Zelda in it.
Ah,
They've been replaced by, well, a bunch of weirdos. There's an old man who is too socially awkward for an in-person conversation, but endlessly chatty whenever you call him on the phone. A friendly shopkeeper who turns homicidal if you steal anything, and a whole family of fourth wall breakers, including a dad who warns you he'll get lost in the mountains later in the game. He does. Oh, that's funny. I'll get lost in the mountains later. And a gaggle of identical kids who give straightforward gameplay tips and then admit they have no idea what they've just said. There's a guy who calls himself Terran, but it's clearly just a disguised riff on Mario. By the end of the game, you've helped him track down a mushroom and seen him turn into a raccoon. Oh, another Mario reference, because he gets the raccoon suit in Mario Brothers 3. Oh, that's so weird. In 2010 interview, this is where the article gets good. 2010 interview, Link's Awakening director Takashi Tezuka revealed that the inspiration for this memorably bizarre cast of characters at the time Twin Peaks was rather popular. The drama was all about a small number of characters in a small town, Tezuka said, so I wanted to make something like that. While it would be small enough in scope to easily understand, it would have deep and distinctive characteristics. Developed at a time when Twin Peaks was so popular in Japan that the New York Times ran a lengthy story about it, it's easy to imagine how the legendary TV drama, co-written by Mark Frost and David Lynch, which begins as a mystery about the murder of a high school girl before spiraling into surreal drama packed with eccentric characters and detours into the supernatural, might have blended into the Zelda franchise as well. And that was the end of the story until a couple of months ago when Mark Frost logged on to X and casually dropped a bombshell that lit up two totally different but equally passionate fandoms. Anyone ever play this? He tweeted in response to a story of how the game, Nintendo's Game Boy classic, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, was inspired by Twin Peaks. I met with them about it and gave them some ideas. Never tried it myself. Until the tweet, Link's Awakening Twin Peaks connection has been understood as an indirect influence. Now Frost reveals in an interview with The Verge that he actually spoke with Nintendo about the Zelda franchise. I don't want to overstate it. It was a single conversation, but it was fun, he tells me. That conversation took place between Twin Peaks' first and second seasons, when Twin Peaks fever was arguably at its hottest. I remember meeting someone who was kind of their resident engineering genius, Frost says. He had hyperhidrosis, so his hands were really sweaty, and he was continually wiping his palms all through the meeting. The team at Nintendo were big fans. They were talking to me about a Twin Peaks game, and they mentioned Zelda at the time, says Frost. They said, one of the things we love about your show is how there's all sorts of sideways associations that can drive the story forward. They asked me about that as they were thinking about expanding the Zelda universe. Though he never played a Zelda game, Frost had enough experience with fantasy storytelling that he had some suggestions. I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons when I was young, so I was familiar with the kind of story they were thinking about, he says. I think I said, don't be afraid to use dream-like Jungian symbolism. Things can connect thematically without having to connect concretely. It was things like that I was urging them to consider. Nintendo veteran Yoshiaki Kazumi had previously taken credit for Link's Awakening story, including the climactic revelation, 30-year-old spoiler, that the entire game has been a dream. Well, you were inside a dream. That's more accurate.
Right,
It wasn't
right.
Link's dream, though. That's the problem. He was stuck in it.
Right.
But it's not hard to draw connections between the murder mystery and the then weirdest Zelda game with its bizarre characters' dreams full of hidden messages. And an owl's that's not what he seems. Of course, an owl talks to you in the beginning of the game and tells you what you have to do.
Yeah.
As for the Twin Peaks game, Frost mentioned, despite write-ups in several video game magazines at the time, it never materialized. Though what little information came out sounded awfully ambitious for an NES game. A blurb in Nintendo Power said it would be role-playing in style with a plot based on the show's second season, complete with multiple playable characters and endings. Last year, time expensive Jack Zara tracked down the former producer and Lysol High-Tech Expressions, who confirmed that an ambitious-sounding Twin Peaks game inspired by Maniac Mansion was discussed, but it never went into production. That could have worked.
Yeah.
It's funny, Kyle, the people that made Maniac Mansion made their own kind of riff on Twin Peaks, like I mentioned earlier. But even
I've
if
been saying all along, Twin Peaks inspired so many things that people don't even realize.
So, of course, this game mentions Life is Strange and Deadly Premonition and Alan Wake. So, but when asked Frost if he had ever seen the Rainy Wood Stray, he pulled on the spot, featuring grisly murder, skull-shaped gas mess, and strange little men sitting in vibrating chairs, he reads, clearly bemused, but the trailer itself didn't bother him. I've never complained about that sort of homage. You can't copyright a mood after all, Frost says. So, there we go. There's the link. Sorry, I went on too long. I thought it's supposed to be 5 minutes. Me talking.
The reason this is important is that, like I said, Twin Peaks has inspired so many things. People are discovering Twin Peaks and going and realizing in this kind of gestalt, kind of being hit by a lightning bolt. Oh my gosh! All these things I've seen have been inspired by Twin Peaks. It's the same thing when people discover Lovecraft. And they read, Madness or what's it called, the Dunwich Horror and things like that, and you start to realize, oh my gosh, all these other horror movies, all these other mystery stories that I've seen, how many of them were inspired by, Lovecraft? I would even argue that there's a little spattering of Lovecraft within Twin Peaks.
Okay, cool. Maybe. Twin Peaks is sort of its own thing, though. I think it really is a unique creation of
it really
American
is, but
culture.
I feel like people don't want to leave Twin Peaks. They want to continue to keep it alive.
Right.
To a certain extent, and that's why it inspires so many different mystery stories and so many horror stories and so many, all kinds of weird, avant-garde type of things that people are doing. But
it looks like he was directly involved in a way with this Nintendo game. That's what I thought was interesting. It's been proven now.
Yep.
And he never thought about it after that, not realizing that this was a very big deal game that's considered a big cult classic. And got a remake recently on Nintendo Switch too.
So just to pivot, then I have keyed up. I looked and I saw that the audio tape, Diane, the Twin Peaks tapes of Agent Cooper, they're like 45 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, that's less than the amount of time of an episode. We could totally do that. So what I did was I just made a video that I could play on Cosme for you guys. We can listen to the whole thing, talk about it as we go. And I was going to do visuals, and I just ran out of time. So the only visual change is that as long as it's side one, you see the disc, or you see the tape that says side one. About the middle, you got to flip the tape over, and the tape literally goes from side one to side two. So... But maybe one day what I'll do is I will add in some visuals to it, and I'll make it like an exclusive for my members or something like that. Okay. But
now, for those of you who are wondering, this is actually from back in the day. Here, let me put me up on Still Store here, Cambot. This is the original version from back in the day. I still have mine. That's the front cover, and of course the back. And if I remind me, Troy, Kyle MacLachlan was nominated for a Grammy or won a
He
Grammy.
received a Grammy for it. He received
right
a
on.
Grammy.
And of course, it opens up and
Yeah,
get some liner notes. And this is the old cassette tape that it was.
Yep.
This is also available on Audible.
It is available on
available
Audible. You can probably find it on YouTube, even. You know.
Oh, I'm sure you can. Yeah, of course I do.
And that's what I did. I took a digital version of it to turn into this little video version that I'm going to play for you. So that's what the Cosme link is up for. I know that a lot of you guys are already over there. And, you know, that's how Tim realized, oh, are we going to be listening to an audio, an audio cassette? Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
We're doing old school.
Yep. So, Stephen, is it okay if I go ahead and get us started?
Yes. All right. Join us over here on Cosme. We will be starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it. Starting
if
off.
Nothing else, the music from the show is used, and so that means, you know, you'd have gotten hit by a copyright strike just for me having this up.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, you know, I got this at the same time that I got the soundtrack. Gosh, I love this music so much, and it plays the entire Twin Peaks theme at the beginning, and I think it's the I can't remember if it's Freshly Squeezed or the one of those jazz pieces at the end of the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there is no more music now. We don't have Angelo Badalamenti. We don't have Julie Cruz.
It's the day the music died.
Right? And they died within months of each other, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any reason to rush this and skip over the music. That's part of it. We're literally getting it from the moment he buys the cassette player or recorder. He's right about that.
That explains things.
Yep. So, in other words, this is from just hours before he gets into Twin Peaks.
Yep.
See, this is almost seamless with what we see in the show.
I hear it.
Yep.
I did.
Things to come. Obviously, I've listened to this more than once.
Yeah, I did listen to the Audible version.
Yeah.
Same as this.
Just think we'll be alive. Yeah,
Oh, look at the meme.
yeah,
the,
I
the-
see
the
that,
GIF.
Tim. Oh, you're going to see plenty.
Not if you hit one head on.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And the first time you meet him in the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beat working.
Ooh.
It shouldn't be too hard to remember that. I love how seamless this is. The audio that you get before the show leads up to him going for lunch and whatnot, and then he's reporting on what he had for lunch and where.
He's from the show.
Yes. Yes, he is. I can just picture him doing the examination, the lights flickering.
There's something to be said for audio dramas, right?
Yes. Yes, I agree.
The British still make them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure, sure. Yeah, Big Finish and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does this mean I'll never grow up? That
That's my favorite
never
vegetable.
ceases to get me every time. No, you won't ever grow up, Laura.
I like asparagus, but what?
I feel like that line there was the last vestige of Sheriff Truman, chocolate bunnies, of Sheriff Truman having any sort of attitude about having a home court advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Once he realizes that Cooper was right and there's a lot of things he didn't know about Laura, he's like, okay, I'll shut up now, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he essentially unlocks every secret in town, really.
Yep.
Because even Renault says it later on. You know,
Yep.
you come to town and all of the little secrets are out in the open.
She is a domino that you're right, reveals every single secret, but at the same time, she was burdened by all the secrets. She was this epicenter. And let's face it, she was suffering. And I'm sorry I spoke over it, but this was him doing the evaluation saying, yeah, Bobby didn't do it. And this is why he knows Bobby didn't do it.
Serial killers don't kill their girlfriends. That's what she said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's not wrong.
No.
She's very precise.
Yes. So probably not me. Yeah, 30 years on, that takes on a very meta level.
Yeah.
Especially since he is an FBI agent, literally a representative of the deep state.
Yeah. Alan Dulles would be a really good start.
Mm. Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
something scared him off. We were at that filming site. Netter got wrapped in plastic, got her picture taken there.
Mm-hmm.
See, a line like that requires you to have seen the show to get the joke, which of course we have.
they go to heaven, pie
Yep.
heaven.
That's what Twin Peaks is. I never realized Harry Truman looks like he's eating Josie's face in that scene.
It's called passion.
It's called horny. Mm.
I see pie.
Yeah, endless pie. I like that. So again, I still feel like. Wait a minute. Sounds. Canadian geese. I'm glad you are enthralled because they are rats with wings where we come from.
That can get kind of nasty, can't they?
They're SOBs.
Well, add that to the weirding module. We'll see what happens.
Right. You guys are all experiencing this the way I did. We had watched seasons 1 and 2, and then listened to the tapes. So I saw this as a supplement to the show. I cannot even imagine trying to make sense of this tape without having seen the show.
Hmm.
Yep. And it wasn't Flappy. Sorry, folks. Oh, right. Mm.
Hmm.
What's interesting is that I see that imagery, the secret society and whatnot. That's the Lovecraftian, element.
Yeah.
And the evil
I
in
think
the
that
woods,
was
right?
I think that was actually a missing pieces scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think one of them is, yeah.
Yep. Now let's make
Make
sure
a note of
everyone
that.
knows that.
That's from the show, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Actually, I've listened to this tape so many times, sometimes it kind of blends together in my head. Welcome, Curtis Selby. For a minute, I misread what you said. I thought you said, howdy, Agent Boomer.
Agent Boomer Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all we did, despite my finding her naked in my bed. Yep. By the way, Josie's birth name, little piece of trivia, Li Chun Feng, which translates as upright autumn bird.
Ooh.
Don't go there. Hurting me. Hurting me.
Ooh.
Leo, no.
Mm-hmm. Poor Waldo.
I have to assume Cheryl Lee did the voice of Waldo. It just
Maybe.
makes sense. Yeah. Jacques Renault. By the way, Blackie Rose, birth name is Blackie O'Reilly.
Mm.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, I know what this is.
That sounds about right.
Well, you've been shot?
No, I know the physics behind it.
Gonna say, I don't remember any bullet scars on you.
Well, not yet, anyway. We haven't been to the range together yet. not too cool. Not Two-Face. Sorry.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. They probably couldn't re-release this show now.
Mm.
Well, relatively speaking. And Boomer, in fairness to Nate, I think that sometimes when he puts up a meme, he may not realize it's from
I
season
see.
3 yet.
I see. Makes sense.
That's why I'm avoiding the Cosme.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. There's some tall men on Twin Peaks.
Yup.
Yeah, but Diane's a pretty tall woman.
Hmm.
It sounds like it.
Or just something.
Yep.
Mm. Mm.
And I do feel that this tape, I mean, maybe it was just me and my obsessiveness with Twin Peaks, but it was a great summation for season 1 and the beginning part of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we got two. We got two opportunities to see season 1 after the initial run. After the initial run, it got a rerun in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
And then they reran it again immediately before season 2, which was fairly unique for episodic TV back then. There wasn't much episodic TV back then. You usually didn't get any kinds of recaps. All you got was something you actually got in Twin Peaks when you were watching it live, previously on Twin Peaks, and then you get clips. But there was so much story, that's why they played it a couple different times. But you didn't have the ability to go back to your DVDs or whatever. You might have had, if you were one of the lucky early adopters of VHS, like I guess we were, I had VHS copies of it that I could rewatch. But I didn't get them the first time through. I didn't get it till the reruns. So this was another way that they could get the basic story out there, a basic synopsis, to get you caught up on the mystery going into season 2. Actually, it got you a little bit past the first couple episodes of season 2. In a way, it was a little bit of a spoiler. Oh, okay, Dale survived, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty shocking when he got shot, right?
Well,
it was the big cliffhanger episode,
for the perspective of the average nighttime drama viewer, it wasn't that big a shock. I mean, everybody had already been through the whole, who shot JR thing by then. So the who shot Dale Cooper thing was almost seen as parody.
Well, that, and I think you would think that the Dynasty cliffhanger, where they had their kind of own Red Wedding type situation, would have also kind of gone a little bit into parody.
That is very, very true. Good point.
Because they went through that whole thing of making it look like everybody had been hit, and it was like 2.
Yeah.
And they were like minor characters,
Of the great cliffhangers, well, I don't know if it constitutes a cliffhanger if it's the end of a series. Many of you have heard me mentioned, and actually, interestingly, Clobbering Times is mentioned many times too. The series Blake 7. Blake 7 ends. It's hard to call it a cliffhanger. It pretty much looks like everyone gets killed. It's very much that whole Red Wedding kind of a thing. But they decided to continue it using, in novelization format. There was a Blake 7 book that came out years later called, I want to say it was like Aftermath or something like that. And you find out that despite thinking that everybody got killed, actually Villa and Avon survived. The reason was Avon, who was surrounded by stormtroopers, and you assume that when you hear the shots going off that he's killed. What actually happened was, although he took a lot of shots and he was very seriously wounded, he dove and allowed the stormtroopers to shoot each other, and then he took out whoever was left over. Villa, who you thought was shot, being the coward that he was, hit the ground and acted like he'd been shot even though they had missed, and then he just played dead, whereas everyone else got killed. But yeah, I've kind of spoiled a 45-year-old series, so forgive me. But something that I may do a watch party of on some, I don't know, Saturday morning or something like that. We'll see. But yeah, so this was how they kind of summarized the events of the first season from Dale's point of view. And what's really cool is at the end he then summarizes the night before Laura's death, which, deleted scenes, I think we should go ahead and get to it next week. What do you think?
Industrial Symphony number 1 is, I think, what we should do.
Oh, damn, I would be so up for that. Yes. No. We can do that at some point. That would be a good idea.
At a later point. Yeah.
But I do think next week, in my opinion, I think we should go with Fire Walk With Me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this was a great lead-in for that. It was a perfect lead-in for that. I think we'd be missing an opportunity. However, from my perspective, this would still be within the 25 years that we're kind of celebrating here.
Mm-hmm.
So, deleted scenes, I think next week should be See You in 25 Years, Part 3, Fire Walk With Me.
Ah.
Okay.
But, and again, this isn't my show, this is yours, this is just my suggestion. Keep in mind, that'll make it a longer night. It'll be, what is it? It's a little over 2 hours with the missing pieces.
Yeah, it's, with the missing pieces, it is lengthy, yeah. But I know people have been asking for it, for kind of a review of that, and it is the perfect bridge, of course, between the original ABC series and, of course, The Return.
Yeah.
And season 3 is coming very soon, Nate. And
after we get through all 6 seasons of Northern Exposure, correct? I think we agreed to that. An episode a week,
and all the seasons of Fringe too.
Yeah, because that takes place in Twin Peaks universe,
right?
Don't even say there was a reference. I mean,
if we watch we watch Northern Exposure, then we're going to have to watch Fried Green Tomatoes again and think about that for a minute. I know Boomer knows what episode I'm talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying. Yeah. No, well, I'm just messing. We got to get back into the swing. We got to. I'm terrified Twin Peaks is going to get the big spoiler before we're done.
I don't know, the way you guys in the chat keep poking at me. I want to keep extending out. Well, let's wait longer and longer to get to.
But yeah, next week, Fire Walk With Me. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I do. I think that just because he just literally summed up. He literally summed up the story leading up to the end of Fire Walk With Me. We kind of should go ahead and see how it matches up. And spoiler, he was spot on. David Lynch and Mark Frost had it all figured out. And honestly, I'm going to say I think these little details about what happened, what night and when, I think that was all Mark Frost. I think David Lynch is like the George Lucas, and I think Mark Frost is like the Marshall Lucas, and all the other writers that contributed to Star Wars Empire.
He's kind of the Gary Kurtz really there.
Yeah,
George,
okay,
we can't
you're
do
right.
that.
No, you're right. That's probably a better analogy. But
Look, you can keep the dancing man, but
But the difference is that David
Go back on the
Lynch.
other stuff.
David Lynch is very aware of his role. He doesn't think he's the end all be all of the story. In fact, God bless him. He feels that your interpretation is every bit as good as his. And yours, I mean everyone that's listening to my voice right now. That's his, I don't know, hippy dippy kind of, artsy fartsy take on it, and I gotta respect the man for that. That's part of his genius, I think Mark Frost is a little bit more by the numbers kind of guy.
Yeah, because you have to remember Mark Frost came from like
Episodic
Hill Street Blues and
yeah
shows like that. That was the show he was working on previous to Twin Peaks.
Another
and
one
L.A.
with a
Law
great
and all of
soundtrack.
those kind of shows.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where he came from. And like I said, I think I have a little bit more respect for it now. Season 2, that's that middle portion of season 2, when I first saw it, I thought it really kind of dragged. But now I understand some of the reasons for that. I think the writers that came in this second season, the Harley Payton types, and
Sure.
they were trying to put their own stamp on it, and I understand that. But it was a little bit of being quirky for the sake of being quirky. But when David Lynch brought up that Mulholland Drive is in the same universe as Twin Peaks, that's when the whole James storyline, which I always thought before didn't need to be there, now I got why it's there.
Yeah.
And I have more respect for season 2 now.
Well, and I don't feel like this is a spoiler. If nothing else, I think it's more of a foreshadowing for you. I think you're going to get more of that from season 3 as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because it actually takes place in a lot of different places outside of Twin Peaks. It goes beyond what you see with James and whatnot. You realize that the whole world is kind of a different world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think for most of our listeners here, to compare it to a multiverse or like Marvels and that kind of stuff, or even Fringe or whatever, is a good illustration, but don't take it too literally. Okay?
No.
I will get more into that when we get into season 3. It's another world. I mean, if nothing else, let's face it, it's fiction. The real world, there is no Twin Peaks, right? If you go to where, and I actually have done this, if you actually go to the latitude and longitude, the distance from the borders in Washington State where Agent Cooper describes Twin Peaks as being, you're literally standing in a big national forest. There is no physical Twin Peaks there. And like I said, the filming locations are mostly Snoqualmie and North Bend, Washington, 2 adjacent towns. And also, there's a lot in L.A., Blackies and the water crossing that they do to get into Canada, that's all in LA. I stood on either side of that river and I said, I'm in Washington, I'm in Canada, and the fact was I was in California the whole time. Life is a little off center. Yeah, Nate, that pretty much. Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong there.
Did you see any Canadian geese?
I always see frickin' Canadian geese. They're a protected species that have now become an invasive species. We should deport all those little fuckers.
all right.
I hate them. Okay. They literally are an invasive species. They may have been an endangered species at one point, but now they are overpopulated. And see, here's the thing about endangered species. Animals are almost never taken off the endangered species list. And what happens is, this is the opposite of, humans trying to correct their mistakes. You've hunted the bison to extinction or whatever. Guess what? The bison aren't rare anymore. Their numbers have come back. People don't realize that. And there are so many bison now that are raised, like cattle are, for the purpose of,
food,
meat production. Yeah.
I've had bison jerky, I think. Yeah.
It's expensive, but it is goodly. Oh, it is goodly.
Yes.
Oh, it is all kinds of yum. I have gotten ground bison meat and mixed it with beef just because it's so expensive, and it's yum. It is so yum.
Makes a good burger, I guess, huh?
It does.
I can attest to that.
See,
okay.
The only thing that's better than both beef and bison is venison. Ground venison is the best ground meat I've ever. I'm drooling as I'm talking. I really, really am.
That's what kept getting Robin Hood into trouble.
Yeah. Well, that's true. He did. He used to poach the
deer.
Deer. Yeah.
They belong to the king.
Hold on to that, Nate. You're not far off. We will talk more about that in season 3. You're absolutely right. Yeah, love bison. Oh, God, it's good. It is so good. Yes, and I will say even better than ground pork. Ground pork is fine for sausages, but I think pork is best made into ham and bacon.
I like a good sausage.
Yes. I've never had ostrich burgers, though I have heard that, Nate.
Oh, I want to try that sometime, yeah.
Right? And emu. I'm sure they're probably very similar. But, oh gosh, yeah. See, and all the people in Washington would be getting all bent out of shape because they're probably all vegans, right?
How dare you?
I know. How dare you? Lamb. Yep. Yeah, lamb is good too. You're absolutely right. I know it's
lamb.
I know it's not the same, but the processed lamb spit that you get, when you get like a gyro or whatever. Oh, so yum. Oh, so yum. But yeah, basic lamb shanks. Oh, there's a dish that I had made one year when I did the Klingon celebration in 1 October. I used lamb chops. Oh, it was so good. But I've kind of switched to chicken because lamb's freaking expensive.
I also don't really like lamb.
Depends on how it's prepared, but no, you kind of didn't like the dish I made. But you like gyro meat, and it's mostly lamb.
Meat, yes.
Mostly lamb. I'm sorry, we've gotten off topic because I guess I'm getting hungry. But so yeah, absolutely. Next week we will get into Fire Walk with Me and the Missing Pieces, and it's kind of a review again, right? It's a bit of a review because we go back to before Twin Peaks. It's a prequel to Twin Peaks, and we get the whole setup that leads to Laura's death. We get the Teresa Banks story that was just talked about that Dale was just talking about, and we get the blow for blow, literally, of Laura's death. But now, of course, you're doing it knowing the mystery. You know who killed Laura Palmer. You know what Bob's role was in it, and who Bob was directly influencing to kill Laura Palmer. So it's not a mystery. We're just kind of seeing it go through the motions. But now we start to connect the Teresa Banks murder with Laura Palmer's murder, and you get as Deleted Scenes was saying, the bigger story outside of Twin Peaks, outside of even the state of Washington.
Mm-hmm. And of course, in the following weeks after Fire Walk with Me will be my 14-part history of Waldo. And
you know what?
Just
well,
kidding.
Before you make
he
that
had an early
joke,
exit on the show. That was because of Flappy. He's like, there's only room enough for one bird, I think.
Yeah.
Before you actually make that joke, I should say that while we were listening to the what do you call it, the tapes there, I got to thinking about the letter that was slipped under Dale's door, right? From that we know came from Audrey, right? And as he pointed out, and he pointed this out in the show too, he said, scented with perfume. And I started to think, they don't say what kind of perfume. And it would have been so perfect. It would have been so on point for Dale to say, not only was it scented with perfume, but he would have specified the exact kind of perfume, because that's what Dale does, right? But they didn't. So it causes you to speculate, what kind of perfume does Audrey Horne wear? And I'm going to leave that up to you, but of course you have to know I did a little bit of digging, and there's a bunch of Reddit posts where people do exactly what I just did, speculating what brand of perfume does Audrey wear, only to find this Etsy seller. I just dropped the link. Don't know anything about this Etsy seller because I just discovered it tonight. The name of the Etsy seller is The Little Book Eater, and this shop does book and story inspired perfume oils, including scents called Audrey Horne, Laura Palmer, Dale Cooper, and the Black Lodge. Find it very interesting. Audrey Horne's scent is cherry vanilla and sandalwood. Laura Palmer's is oak moss raspberry. Age Cooper, jelly donut, strawberry. And the Black Lodge is cedarwood, Douglas fir, fire and smoke. That makes perfect sense to me. So if you're so interested, I dropped a link to that Etsy seller. I am not sponsored by this Etsy seller. I have not even done business with this Etsy seller, so I can't even say that I know if it's any good or not, but I find that very intriguing. So there you go, guys.
I don't know. I'd like to try some of that.
I know, right?
Before we move along with the closer, there has been an update from Ashley Alonso's Cloudburn Times daughter. This is on the GoFundMe page.
Oh.
Hello, Ash here. We've been floored by the response as we've had from his friends and family. The hospital is in awe by how full the waiting room has been, with people waiting to take turns to see him.
Oh, that's excellent.
Currently, my brother and I have taken turns being with him. We have been actively trying to make him more comfortable. As of right now, he is running a 106 fever, which the nurses are treating with Tylenol. Our nurses are amazing and have been actively telling us what they are doing and their hopes for the treatment. Right now, we are mostly waiting. My brother and I have been changing his ice packs to make sure he is comfortable. In between talking to him and laughing with him, we've been watching movies. We had Guardians of the Galaxy on earlier, and now National Treasure. Unfortunately, he would hate the rest of the superhero movie selection, as it's mostly new DC.
Oh,
His better wake up soon before I put Batman v Superman on. Anyway, I will try to update as much as possible. And there's a picture along with it, which is Guardians on the TV with him in the hospital bed.
So, Tylenol, acetaminophen, an analgesic, addition to a fever reducer. It's also a blood thinner, which makes sense for someone who's just had a minor heart attack. Long term, I'd be concerned about kidney function, but let's face it, we need to get through, the heart condition and the fever before we start worrying about other things. But good, that's hopeful. That's positive treatment. So there we go. And also, there's been over $1,000 donated just while we've been on stream tonight. So,
yes.
Bingo. And more than a third of the way to their goal. So good on all of y'all.
Yes, thank you to everybody who donated during the show. I do see some familiar names among the list of those who have donated just in like the last couple of hours. So thank you.
Because if you don't specifically say anonymous, your name's going up there. So just pro tip if you want to be anonymous.
And Troy is correct. We are now more than 1/3 of the way to the goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
At present. So.
And like I mentioned earlier, when you go to donate, it'll ask you if you want to tip. You do not have to tip.
You do not have to. No.
No. In fact, I don't. I always make it 0 because, like, what the frick am I tipping you for?
And I don't know if there's a connection, but as I'm looking through the names of people that have donated, there's a Lee Palmer that donated. Just, just an interesting coincidence. And Dale doesn't believe in coincidences, so, there you go.
Nice. All right. So we're going to go one more time around the horn. Boomer?
Around
what
the
do you have?
Horn? Sorry.
Get me started. Your wife is in front of you. I am pretty sure she is armed.
Yes, she is. But she's actually used to it. She's almost a little bit desensitized to it.
He's still within throwing distance.
True. That is true.
Yeah. What do you have coming up, sir?
I'll be on Friday Night Last Call with Troy Pacelli.
You think? Yep.
And yes, we're going to be doing his big celebration, but he'll talk more about that himself. Yep. And then on Sunday, I'll be on Geeky Geezers right after the official pre-show of Geeky Geezers, which is unscripted. But we'll be talking about many interesting things. Let's see. There had been some interesting news this week, huh?
Yeah, there already
complaints about the
has
Hollywood
been.
Museum about let me see what else.
Got some things to share about the gaming industry and Kotaku again, believe it or not.
Oh,
That's
no.
the gift that just keeps on friggin' giving.
Hold on. Yeah, other things. Basically, I'm trying to find stuff to talk about. The Bad Boys weekend box office. We'll explore
Yeah.
that. And
Did well.
of course, more Paramount nonsense because nobody wants them. Anyway, yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, that's it for now. So, I guess the Lord of the Rings anime movie. We'll talk a bit about that. There we go.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Netter.
Oh, let's see. Today is Tuesday, so Thursday.
Yes.
Over on Thursday Things, my special guest will be Obnoxious and Anonymous. He is a Twin Peaks fan, and we'll probably be touching on some Twin Peaks, which means Troy will be taking over my show.
We'll be talking a lot of Twin Peaks. Yes, we will.
That wasn't my initial plan, but okay, let's just
It works
go
out
with that.
perfectly. Yes.
Well,
It fits,
because, like I said, Troy's taking over my show.
it fits in perfectly with where we are in the Twin Peaks journey. Yes.
And despite the fact that his name is Obnoxious and Anonymous, he's really a very nice guy, so don't let that put you off. I really do hope to see you guys on Thursday Things. Oh, and I am looking for more guests. I'm starting to run low on my guest list, so let me see. I am looking for... Where's my list? There's my list. I am looking for people from July 18th and beyond. So if you'd like to be a guest on Thursday Things, my only criteria is that you have a YouTube channel of that has your own content on it that you're trying to grow, because I want to know about you and your content. I don't want to know about somebody else's content because it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
So yeah, drop me a DM on Twitter. It's Netters Network, no apostrophe in Netters, no space between Netters and Network. I don't have any settings saying that no one can DM me, so you should be able to send me a DM. And yeah, I'd love to have you on. Just let me know what Thursday would be preferable for you. Like I said, I'm looking for July 18th and beyond. And we'll go from there. Let's see. Saturday, of course, I'll be Friday. I will be co-hosting on Last Call with this guy, Troy Pacelli. I think I'm pointing like you can see me. And then, of course, on Saturday, I'll be guest hosting with Big Al and Troy for, what was it called, Gumball Rally?
The Gumball Rally, yes.
Which, once Troy reminded me it was Jackie Chan, I'm like, I'm sure I've seen it. Let's see. And then Monday night, I will be with, what are we calling it? Last Call, Monday Night Last Call?
Last Calls, Monday Night at the Movie.
Yeah, that place. We're going to be doing that. So I'll be co-hosting on there. And then back here again on next Tuesday for another episode of the Dale Cooper Tapes. That's all.
There you go. Oh, is it me?
Zelda. No.
Yes.
No.
Zelda, what are you up to this week?
Okay. Troy.
Yep. So all those things those other people said, and Friday is the 14th, and it's Flag Day. Just remember that, folks. That's important too.
We're talking about regular American flags. Not
Right,
any
the
other
American
flags.
flag, Old Glory, folks.
That's the only flag
And
that is pertinent on that day.
And I will bring that up, I'm sure. But in addition to that, I will be celebrating my acceptance by the YouTube overlords into their partnership plan.
And when are you having on our special guest for Mental Health Month?
That'll be a week from Friday.
Okay.
I'll get to that in a second.
I kept thinking that was this Friday.
Yeah, no, this Friday. Well, you know, he may stop by. I've sent out the invitation to a lot of big YouTube channels that have been very influential on getting me to where we are.
So you sent one to Oral Nation, of course.
I did send one to Orville Nation. I did, just sneaky peek. Some people that have said they'll try to stop by. Michael French from Retro Blasting, Culture Casino, and we'll see who else stops by. Maybe a certain deleted scenes might make an appearance. I'm guessing.
What about that Netters Network?
I'm sure that my regulars, Netters Network, and and Aged Boomer will be there as well. I hope
I
you
got
guys
better
won't abandon-
things to do.
I was just gonna say, I hope you guys aren't gonna abandon me on a big celebration night. It'll be a lot of fun. I will drink heavily. It will be lots of fun. And really, it's gonna just be, a couple hours of me just thanking y'all for getting me here. Super appreciate y'all. Of course, the Gumball Rally. Like we said over on Big Al Presents on Saturday, Sunday. The Geeky Geezers. I have nothing better to do than to hang out with my buddy, you smartass, Nate. But Flag Day, dude, that's a joke you need to say for Friday. But yeah, Aged Boomer, Geeky Geezers.
Thank you.
I am the Robin
Seriously?
to your
YouTube
Batman.
won't let you put up the U.S. flag, but let you put up that thing.
Really?
Let me see. Okay. I gotta try it now.
Ridiculous. Got some things to
Redonk-
say about that. Maybe I'll talk about that a little
Redonkulous.
bit on Friday. Yes.
Yeah, the American flag isn't here. They got a gay flag, a pirate flag, one of the ones for cars, the checkered flag.
Yeah.
One's for ships, but
What?
no American flag.
Tells you something, right, people? Well, you know what? Maybe I'll just make that a membership icon for membership on my channel. So big old old glory there. But
I will take it.
Monday night at the movies is going to be a Father's Day special. I will be doing the movie Father's Day from 1997 and Mr. Mom from 1983.
Oh, that's funny. I know. Oh wait, am I thinking of the right Father's Day? Is
Is
he?
that the one with Steve Martin?
That's Father of the Bride.
That's
Oh.
Father of the
Oh,
Bride.
okay. I'm thinking of a different movie. Okay. Cool.
1997. Let me see. I'm a little Oh, yeah. Forget that. Reverse it. We will be doing, of course, Mr. Mom first, and then Father's Day from 1997. That's Billy Crystal and Robin Williams.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do it in reverse order. But yeah, still two very good movies for Father's Day.
I got the title backwards on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg thing, but Father's Day is not the title. It's got Daddy in the title or something.
Daddy
but,
Dearest or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, the only other Father's Day I can think of is the Astron 6 one, and I don't think we're going to be doing that one. So
Yeah, I looked at that and I'm like, no.
Oh,
No.
it's funny. It's funny. I'm sorry.
It is, but
I
yeah.
want to say that there's a scene in it where the guy is where they recruit the guy. He's out in the woods. I'm just out in the woods and I'm getting maple syrup, and he says that's not a maple tree. I don't know where, and I don't know why I found that funny. I guess where is that syrup coming from? What is that? Is that tree sap or something?
Or it's a
I guess he
rubber
was in
tree.
Canada.
Right.
I don't know.
It could be a rubber plant.
Maybe.
If you guys have Douglas firs, the pine sap, I don't recommend making syrup from it, but it smells wonderful. We had some Douglas firs. Well, there's a lot of them out west, so we got a chance to experience that. I had what is it, blue pines? Is that what they're called? When I was growing up in Brookfield, like I said, that sap, sticky. Don't touch it. It's hard to wash off, but it smells wonderful. It really does. And never burn pine, needles. Well, you can burn pine needles in your house if you wish to. Don't do it in your fireplace. They get up the flue, and they're very different. It's going to cost you to get those cleaned out.
You want to use the right kind of wood and that kind of
Yeah, exactly. Nate, you being a smart ass there, showing a fire like the one I got showing in Cosme. But I'm sorry, you guys got me distracted. That's my Father's Day offering for Friday night, Monday night at the movies, or excuse me, Last Calls Monday night at the movies. See, now I'm screwing it all up. Which brings us back around to Tuesday, where we just mentioned that we will be watching Fire Walk with Me and the Missing Pieces here on Deleted Scenes channel.
All right. But enough about him. No? Okay, I'm just kidding. No. You see, it's in the script, guys. Let's see. Ha. Sorry. Okay. All right.
Are you that anal retentive? You got to get the right number of ha's. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
All right. Well, that gets it back on around to myself and put me up on Still Store Can't Buy. All right. Of course, Action Theater. Jedi Bill and myself every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. And this week we are watching Patriot Games. Mm-hmm. Harrison Ford's first film as Jack Ryan.
Oh, cool.
And of course, Sunday, full day for me. I'll be joining Jedi Bill again for Western Cinema Presents at 4 p.m. And we're going to be watching the classic John Wayne Western, Red River. And then, of course, later that evening will be Unscripted. And you, in the chat, will direct where the show goes, because it's going to be a chat Q&A session. I haven't done one of those in a while. So I figured now was the perfect time to do so. And the week after that will be my best of 2024 so far show. We get my top 10 best movies so far. And yes, I found 10 good ones.
Huh.
It's been a lean year.
Yes.
And yeah, but
Beekeeper,
I found...
is Beekeeper one of them? Actually, don't spoil it. You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll have to wait and see. And of course, Monday, I will be joined by Sin's Corner and Off to Cover for Mystery Movie Night at the Regal and AMC, because Paul's closer to an AMC than a Regal. And we will be reviewing whatever that film might be. And that's at the 10 p.m. Monday the 17th. And my guess is that it's going to be The Bike Riders. I'm hoping for Long Legs, but it probably won't be. But we'll see. Next Monday night at 10 p.m. Join me there. And then, of course...
I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. Sorry.
No worries. And then, of course... I did forget. Also, Thursday will, of course, be the weekend update, which will be right after Thursday Things is completed.
Yep. We'll send everybody.
Regardless of whatever time that might be.
Yeah.
Because I'm expecting it to go at least a little bit over, which I'm totally fine with.
We will be obnoxious and anonymous, so you can expect us to go overtime.
And of course, join us right back here, same bat time, same bat channel, as we revisit Fire Walk with Me and the Missing Pieces.
Cool.
And how those crazy missing pieces all fit together. So, I don't know. And season 3 creeps ever closer.
Yep.
All right. I do want to go ahead and thank everyone who joined us in the chat, especially those on Twitter and Rumble. I can't see you, but I know that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank everybody that was with us in the main chat, FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. We also had Connie Cleary, JPRPH1, Big Al Presents, Curtis Selby, Geek Flag with an 8 Nose, 1973. And of course, anyone who might have been lurking in the background, which is totally fine. You do not have to engage with the chat, just as long as you enjoyed the show. Hit the like, share out the stream, subscribe to everyone on the panel, of course, and everyone in the chat. So, folks, any last words?
Nope. I just want to thank. Gosh, I just really want to thank everybody for being here. You guys. I say this on every stream I am on, especially my own. But you guys make this happen. You know, it's unlike so much of Hollywood. We don't point the finger and castigate our audience. We thank our audience because. You're a big part of what makes us successful. You are what makes us successful. So thank you for being here.
I like
Of
how
course.
Clarius says he
I'm
has
sorry.
nothing to say and then he says something.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's cute, sweetie.
I do, of course, want to remind everyone of the GoFundMe page one more time before we go, dedicated to our friend Mike Alonzo, a.k.a. Clobberin' Times.
Yes.
We are now over a third of the way past the goal.
Wonderful. And make sure that you send prayers, well wishes, good thoughts, whatever it is you believe his way, for quick healing, getting back home where he belongs.
And drop a nice encouraging note on the GoFundMe for his family. You can do that anonymously, I believe, or you can whatever. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so I'm dedicating tonight's episode to Clobby and also to our fallen brother in arms, Ben Potter, aka Comic Storian, who passed away this week as well. So our thoughts and condolences to his family and friends as well. Mm-hmm. All right. Netter, would you like to close us out with your final words?
Sure. I also want to remind everyone to make sure that you are sub to every member of the panel as well as every member of the chat, or chats since we have several streams open.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think you're sub, please go back and double check that you're still sub because, YouTube. And with that said, we can talk amongst ourselves and that's all well good and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. You're dropping comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And if y'all were here, you'd be eating some of my homemade cookies. I'm just saying. And you guys, you're not just our friends. You're our family. You're definitely our family. You're so encouraging, and not just to us on the panel, but to everyone in the chat. I love seeing you guys in all of our streams. Because like I said, you're family, so you're there. And you can be anywhere, but you're here with us, which just makes me happy every time I see you guys. As soon as I see your names in the chat, it's like, okay, I have to say hello because, this person's here, this person's here. I mean, I just love seeing you guys in all of our streams. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of our family. We love you guys. And I know we've got a lot coming up in the week, so I do hope to see you on Thursday for Thursday Things. But until then, good night and God bless.
All right. And hello to Maria with T and Telly joining us right at the end.
Hey, Maria.
All right. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for joining us. Everyone who stuck with it. We didn't have very many people leave. We've had pretty much the same number of folks from the beginning. So thank you all for sticking through a slightly longer than usual telecast. And we were a little late because we had to get some things together backstage. But thank you all for once again sticking with us. And we will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. From HQ on Sparkwood, on the corner of Sparkwood and 21. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Because this is how we win.
Was it seduction or illusion? Deception or murder? Nothing is what it seems in a town like Twin Peaks. Starring Kyle MacLachlan, Michael Onke, Laura Flynn Boyd, Sherilyn Fenn, and Joan Chen. And now you can fall back into the mystery, or begin your search for the first time every Tuesday night with a new episode hosted by a panel of superfans. Watch live for the audio commentary. No one is innocent